He's back. What is up, Michael gangsters? I'm sure you guys just watched the Super Bowl, right? You're back, you're all bloated back from the Super Bowl. You had some nice pizza, you watched that terrible game, you watched that, I guess you could say, terrible halftime show. At least that's what I concluded after watching the first minute of it. But I'm just gonna go through some of my notes here just to go over the overall vibe of the halftime show, maybe some responses to it, namely the mystery guest, if you can't tell by who it is in the thumbnail already. But yeah, it's Turning Point USA, also known as Charlie Kirk's child, and their huge, I guess you could say, yeah, response basically to Bad Bunny's halftime show, the American halftime show, I guess is what they called it. But let's just begin with a quick basis. So we watched the Super Bowl. Yes, I'm Canadian. No, I didn't watch the Super Bowl. I don't watch that. Don't like football. But I heard from some friends and some of my Puerto Rican friends that it was pretty boring. But yeah, it took place this Sunday. It just happened. It happened in California. Patriots versus Seahawks. And the halftime show, which was sponsored by Apple Music, was being headlined by the Puerto Rican rapper and singer Bad Bunny. So I myself never listened to Bad Bunny or really any music that's not in English or French, I guess. And I've really never been a fan of Bad Bunny specifically. I've listened to some Spanish songs, but I'm just not a big fan of Bad Bunny songs. It is what it is. But, there was this huge headline going on that he's one of the youngest to ever be featured at the Super Bowl at just 31 years old. And there was a huge emphasis on his Puerto Rican culture, history, and a theme of unity. And, a lot of people were making this about like an anti-ICE type of thing. I'm not going to be going into politics in this video, right? I want sponsors. I want to be a big YouTuber eventually. So I'm just going to be fence-sitting like a good little boy. But basically, it was kind of surrounding the idea that this was anti-ICE, anti-immigration, and anti-Trump, basically. There were also guest appearances like Lady Gaga, which as soon as I saw her, I basically tuned out. She hasn't been the same ever since her OG days. I mean, her songs aren't terrible now, but they're just not the same. But at the end of the show, which was pretty lackluster, he ended it up with holding a Together We Are America sign, which is promoting basically a message of inclusivity. But then there's people like Rolling Stone who actually rated it as the second best halftime show ever, just behind Prince's, right? Because Bad Bunny and Prince, they're just there, they're butting heads, they're basically equal. But even since this show's announcement in September 2025, it was actually very polarizing and very controversial. Because as we knew that Bad Bunny can't really speak English, all his songs are in Spanish, which meant the entire event would presumably be all in Spanish with no English. And what did it turn out to be? An entire Latin, no English speaking Spanish event. People were saying that this was disgraceful to Americans and inappropriate for the Super Bowl because, it's the favorite American pastime. It's what makes America, America. So it has to be English, right? And not only this, but Bad Bunny has been vocal against Trump's immigration policies, like I said, including ICE raids. And he used his recent platform at his Grammy speech, protesting against ICE, highlighting issues that affects Puerto Ricans and Latinos. And while I'm not going to pick a side here, right, I have many Puerto Rican friends. So I'm just going to say that I love my Puerto Ricans, and that's all I'm going to say. And Latinos, of course. But Trump then responded and he publicly blasted this choice of putting Bad Bunny as the Super Bowl headliner. And then we get into conservative groups like Turning Point USA, as I mentioned. It hosted an all-American alternative show. And guess who they headlined against Bad Bunny? Bad Bunny, maybe 100 million monthly on Spotify? He's been the biggest Spotify artist for a long time now. Might still be. I don't know. But who did they headline to compete and, once again, butt heads with Bad Bunny? They chose none other than Kid Rock, if you even know who that is. Yeah, Kid Rock is the biggest phony, biggest grifter, biggest performative cowboy, terrible music, wannabe country singer or rapper or whatever he is, really. Even with this terrible lineup and headline, they actually drew over 20 million views, and they announced that they were going to have a return next year. So I think at its peak, I saw that I had 6 million live viewers on Rumble or something like that, which I'm not sure if that's botted or if that's real. I don't know if all like the old heads or something are tuning into that. But it is worth questioning, like 6 million viewers on Rumble for Turning Point USA when the Super Bowl's on during the, I mean, it is during the halftime show, but still, it's a little odd. But the NFL actually defended the pick for Bad Bunny. But you know, like always, people are saying that the NFL is going woke. They're calling it a vicious anti-American hate ritual with occult degradation, and they're urging real patriots to skip it entirely. I can understand that, you know, it is an American event. I doubt there's many Puerto Ricans or like Latino or Spanish people, or at least they're in the minority of people there that can even understand Spanish. So it wouldn't make sense to really have a fully Spanish halftime show. Even when we had like Shakira or something, you know, she speaks in English. She's a Latina. She's hot. But you know, it's different than headlining Bad Bunny. I could understand both sides, you know. But if I'm like a Republican or a conservative or on the winning side, quote unquote, you know, and I see that I have Kid Rock going up against Bad Bunny, I'm throwing my MAGA hat in the trash, man. I mean, what is that? They can't find anyone better. And this is the whole problem with, I guess, the right-wing side of politics, is that they never really do try to actually get one over the other side. And their attempts are, for the most part, pretty pathetic in regards of getting support of their base. Like we saw Kid Rock praising Jesus, Bible references, talking about faith and family at the front and center. And while for the most part I can agree with, you know, praising Jesus and all that, and you know, that family focus, it kind of gets a little tiresome, and once again, that performative preachy feeling. Like, we're at an NFL halftime show, we're here to have a good time. I don't really want to be preached to or lectured to. I just want to have a good time. So at this point, from a Republican POV, I'd 100% side with the Spanish over this, to be honest. I think if you're looking at it from that perspective, that, yeah, Bad Bunny actually won. At the end of the day, when you look at all the different headliners at each Super Bowl, you had Prince, Michael Jackson, legendary, Justin Timberlake and Michael Jackson's sister, what was her name? Janet Jackson. You know, although that was popular for other reasons, these were still nonetheless legendary and memorable events. And compared to this Bad Bunny stage, it's just very forgettable. And also the songs, no one really knows them at a Super Bowl event, which again makes it even more forgettable. I would understand if this was soccer, if this was like the World Cup and he got the halftime show, because a lot of Latinos, Hispanics, Puerto Ricans or whatever, they all watch this sport. It's huge in Latin America. This would make sense, but I don't really think the logic is really following here in this specific environment. Then again, don't listen to me. I'm Canadian. I don't watch this stuff. I just wanted to make a video on it because I found it pretty funny. I love everyone and I love you. So please make sure to subscribe, comment, like, turn post notifications on, shoot me an email at michael.funguy@gmail.com for any topics or something that you guys want me to talk about. And I'll see you guys in the next video.
I'm gonna come.